I've been stuck on your memory, but it's not like I need it. And you may have some history, but we don't have to repeat it. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I'm gonna burn all the bridges between us. I can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my head. I just need to clear.
And that is Alex Clear My Head, the opening track for the SJP File Sports Report. I am your host, SJP. This is episode 31 of the Sports Report, and this is our second episode on Spreaker. About 2 weeks ago, I recorded episode 30 on Spreaker after moving the podcast over from Anchor. Big fan of what Anchor does. Big fan of their free podcast, format. But the 30-minute, per segment was kind of being a little restrictive, and it was kind of getting on my nerves a little bit. So I decided to essentially just kind of move the podcast over to Spreaker, which is what I was planning to do anyway. And even though I do, in fact, pay for Spreaker, which is kind of irritating now that I think about it, I paid like a monthly subscription. Probably should have paid for the whole year when I had the deal, but I didn't, which was stupid in my part, but whatever at the time. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sports Report. I know it's been a bit of a lull in the Sports Report, but I've been a little bit busy. Had to do I don't know if you listened to the preview. The show has changed, the mini-sode I did yesterday, but I've essentially been pretty busy the last 2 weeks or so. Had a new schedule, catching up on some sleep. But this week, playoffs. The NBA playoffs. Today is an all-NBA show. I know UFC, what was it, 262 just happened, or 252? I forget what the actual number is right now. It's so fucking high. But I skipped that show. Also watched WrestleMania Backlash, but not overly interested in talking about it right now. I may get to that at a later date this week. But today we're talking all NBA, and the playoffs are about to start. The playoffs start essentially tonight with the play-in tournament with the Charlotte Hornets and the Indiana Pacers, the 7th and 8th seeds in the Eastern Conference, playing for essentially the 7th seed. Winner... No, not the 7th seed, my bad. The 8 and the 10, the 9 and the 10th seed, my bad. Completely forgot where I thought they were higher ranked. But doesn't matter. We have the 9 and the 10 Hornet seed, the Hornets, playing the Pacers, and then later tonight we have the Celtics and the Wizards playing in the 7-8 matchup. Now, with the way the records broke out, the Celtics, a very disappointing 36-36, 500 team this year. The Washington Wizards, 34-38, the 8th seed, having the tiebreaker over the Indiana Pacers, who are also 34-38, and the Charlotte Hornets, who are 33-39. Now, without the injuries to Lamella and Gordon Hayward, and I think Terry Rozier missed some games this year, I would definitely have put the Hornets much higher up on this list, but that's not what happened. But first of all, we're going to get to the Eastern. We're going to start in the Eastern Conference, and then we're going to get to tomorrow's Western Conference play-in games, and then I'm going to break down every single matchup going to the playoffs, seeing how I think they will break down. We're going to do this every single round, so we're going to do the first round, second round, conference finals, and then NBA finals, and then we'll revise in the second round. Then we're going to do the second round of the conference finals and the finals. Then we're going to do the conference finals and the finals. Then we're just going to do the finals as the NBA season picks off, as the second season of the NBA picks off. Now, the teams in the Eastern Conference, Philly finished with the best record, 49-23, followed by Brooklyn, 48-24, a game back, followed by Milwaukee, 46-26, followed by the Knicks, 10 games over 500, 41-31. Surprising for the Knicks. I did not think the Knicks were going to make the playoffs. I thought the Knicks were going to be trash, as they always trash. But hey, man, Thibodeau is a fantastic coach. He brought that Chicago grind that he brought to Minnesota. He brought it to New York, and they're a really good young team. I very much like the way they play. It's a very physical, like 90s style of basketball that the New York Knicks play. They force you to play their style. They force you to play physical basketball, and they're going to be playing the Atlanta Hawks, who are 41-31. That's going to be a problem for Atlanta, because I don't think, because if New York can get Atlanta to slow it down and play that physical style of basketball that the Knicks love to play, then I think they win this series. The Heat are at 6, so they're going to be playing the Milwaukee Bucks. For those of you who don't know, the Miami Heat beat the Milwaukee Bucks in the second round of the playoffs last season, and I believe it was 6-game series. And man, the Bucks are a different team this year. I think they're a better team this year, but the Heat are kind of hitting their stride at the right time. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games, and I know Milwaukee's also 8-2 in their last 10 games. But I just think the Heat, I think they're both. I think Heat are relatively very similar to the team they were last year, and I think the Bucks are a better team than they were last year. I think this is a series that could go 7. I don't know if it will, but I definitely think it could go 7. Now we have the 7-8 matchup with the Boston Celtics and the Washington Wizards. I know who I want to win, and I know who, because the Celtics are pretty much a dumpster fire. I mean, they've lost 6 of their last 10 games. They've had a dismal season. Jaylen Brown is out for the year with an injury. I don't remember. I think it was a knee injury. But I mean, this is like the worst season for them. The construction of their roster is almost terrible. I mean, Jason Tatum, Carson Edwards, like I said, Jaylen Brown's out for the year. I mean, Kemba Walker is not having a great year. Peyton Pritchard, Grant Williams, Tristan Thompson was an addition that didn't do much. Jabari Parker, another addition that didn't do much. Evan Fournier, another addition, didn't do much. I mean, this is a really, I wouldn't say, I don't think they're a bad team. I just think they've had a really bad year. Let's see. Yeah, broke his wrist. Ooh, I did not know. Diagnosed with he had a torn ligament in his wrist. Okay. So wow, it's a shame. But especially with the way that the Wizards are playing right now, and Russ riding high, I'm gonna go with the Wizards to win this game, because I really want to see Russ against KD in the first round of the playoffs, and the Wizards win this game. They're the 7th seed, which means they face Brooklyn in the first round. And don't get me wrong, Brooklyn wins that series. I don't know if it's an easy 4-game sweep, because I think if they play the Celtics, I think they sweep the Celtics. I honestly believe, I think they just sweep the Celtics, but I think it's the Wizards. I think you're looking at either a gentleman sweep or tough. This could be a tough 6-game series for the Nets if they end up playing the Wizards. Now, I think the Nets win. This could be a tough 5 or 6-game series, but in this case, I'm going to pick the Wizards to beat the Celtics. And then we have your 9-10 matchup, Indiana Pacers and the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte's have lost their last 5 straight. I think they're a good team, but I think they lose here. I think they lose to the Indiana Pacers. I like the Hornets. I really do. I think they're a fantastic team. They were my league pass team all year. They're the team I love to watch play. They're one of the lesser teams I love to talk about. Lamella Ball had a fantastic rookie season, and in my opinion, he should be the rookie of the year. He should be. I wholeheartedly believe he should be the rookie of the year, but I don't think he'll win it. I think it'll either be Anthony Edwards or they might do a co-MVP type thing. But fantastic player, fantastic team. I think they're just going to be... I honestly believe they're going to have a very bright future. Jordan finally got one right. But as for the Indiana Pacers, TJ Warren, who was blown up in the bubble last year, averaging like 40-something points, was wild. Aaron Holiday, Malcolm Brogdon, been into this team. He's been playing there for like 2 years now. You got Domantas Sabonis, fantastic big man. I think you're looking at the Indiana Pacers in this game. I'm not gonna give you a score, but I've got the Indiana Pacers beating the Charlotte Hornets, and then Indiana and Boston playing. I got the. I want to say the Pacers. I want to say the Pacers beat the Celtics for the 8th seed. But I don't know. I want to say it. I really, really do. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to say it. I think the Celtics missed the playoffs this year. I think in the playoff tournament, I think they missed the playoffs this year. I think Indiana beats them for the 8th seed, and it's going to be Philly, Indiana in the first round, and that's a series that's going to not bode well for the Indiana Pacers. All right, sorry, took a quick little break. I had to get some pen and paper so I could, break down this whole deal with the Nets and break down this whole playoff format. You know what I'm saying? Because I wholeheartedly believe it. So after we just picked the playing games, like I said, I think Wizards beat Boston for the 7th seed. I think Indiana beats Charlotte for the 9th seed, and I think Indiana beat Boston for the 8th seed. So in the first round, we have Philly versus Indiana. Philly in. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this, because the Philadelphia 76ers are going to win, but how dominant they're going to be is, I think it's a sweep. I think you're looking at a 4-0 sweep, because the Philadelphia 76ers are just kind of playing out of their minds right now. 8-2 in their last 10. Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons have played fantastic all year long. I mean, Joel Embiid in the MVP discussion this year. After I break down the playoffs, I am going to do like a little MVP discussion thing. Ben Simmons still can't score for shit. But averages 7 rebounds, 7 assists. One of the best defensive players in the league. He'll probably be runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year this year. But we'll see. I know he's had some back stiffness as of late. But Joel Embiid, 29 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. He's been like the most ridiculous player in the NBA. He's only 27 years old. He's proven himself to be one of the best big men, arguably the best big man. And if he had played the entire season, if he had been healthy, he'd be the MVP. He'd have been the MVP. Without that's something in my. Fucking hate when that happens. But where was I? Yes, Joel Embiid would have been the MVP this year if he had been healthy the whole year. As it stands right now, Nikola Jokic is going to be the MVP, and Chris Paul, who should be a serious MVP discussion, who should be seriously in the MVP discussion, definitely in the top 5, closer to 3, because I would put him behind Embiid. Jokic is going to win it. I would put him behind Embiid because Embiid would have won it if he had been healthy the whole year, and I put him 3rd. I know a lot of people love Steph Curry. I was going to dive into the MVP discussion later in the show, but hey, shit happens sometimes. But, Steph, he's the MVP. He had probably the best season. If the MVP was like split into like if the MVP was an actual most valuable player of the year award, it's not. The MVP is usually the best player on the best team, or the best player, or the guy who had the best season on a top 3 team, or a top 3 or 4 team in your respective conference. That's usually how it goes. Steph probably had the best statistical season along with Embiid and Jokic, but to me, I would put Paul ahead of those. He doesn't have the stats, but his impact on the Phoenix Suns definitely warrants points, a high MVP, placement in this year's vote. I think he'll finish probably like 5th or 6th in the MVP discussion this year, even though he should finish probably 2nd or 3rd. 2nd or 3rd is where I would definitely put him if I had a vote. Obviously, I do not. I'm just a schmuck talking about basketball on a podcast. Tobias Harris, I think they're going to smash. I think they're going to completely smash the Indiana Pacers. 4-zip. Pencil it in, baby. 4-zip. All right, next we have the Knicks and the Hawks in the 4-5 matchup. Now, like I said, this series is probably going 6 or 7. This series is definitely going 6 or 7 games. The Atlanta Hawks and the New York Knicks are two of kind of like the up and coming teams in the NBA. The Knicks, the Atlanta Hawks, 13th in points per game, 5th in rebounds per game, 19th in assists per game, and 12th in opponents' points per game. They're like a solid middle of the road team. Not a great offense, but a good offense. Not a great defense, but a good defense. A very good rebounding team. So I think that's probably why, they're like in the middle of opponents scoring. Like I said, not a great defensive team, but also not a great offensive team. They're led by, Trae Young, who I didn't think he'd be able to get this team into the playoffs this year. I thought they'd equally suck this year. But with the additions of Dino Loganari, I believe I thought they would suck this year. I got to listen back to my Eastern Conference breakdown early in the year, but I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. With the additions of Lou Williams, Danilo Gallinari, Bogdan Bogdanovic, who didn't play much early in the year. You had John Collins, Onyeka Okongwu, Clint Capella, and let's not forget Trae Young. Lou Williams, has been playing, looks like decent basketball. He's played, let's say, 11 points a game, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. He was definitely in the, He was definitely in the, 6th man of the year. He's had 3 6th man of the year awards. He won the award 3 times. Fantastic player. Danilo Gallinari averaging 13 points for this team. Bogdan Bogdanovic averaging almost 17 points. He had a really good year this year. Essentially, especially like the last 4 games, 28 points, 25 points, 20 points, 27 points. They're in 3 of their last 4 of their last 5. And, his last 5. Yeah, 4 of the last 5. Fantastic addition to this team. I'm surprised that the Kings didn't keep him, which was, I think, really stupid. Jason Collins, who I believe is on the last year of his contract, if memory serves, he's definitely in there in and of himself. I believe Jason, let me check real quick to see where Jason Collins is on his contract. I'm pretty sure it's the last year of his contract, and if it is the last year of his contract, that's going to be a problem because they're going to have to pay a lot of money to get him back. Yeah, he's a restricted free agent. He's a 4-year. Oh, that's a qualifying offer. He's a restricted free agent this year. He's a restricted free agent this year. So the question is, I think they should keep him. But he's going to have he's definitely going to be a hot free agent target this summer. So I expect them to see him get a big offer. I think Lonzo is also another guy who's going to get a crazy big offer to the point where he might not stay in New Orleans. John Collins, same thing. I think they should match anything he gets, unless it's like wildly crazy. But they'll probably match anything he gets, and for some reason they didn't give him a rookie extension. He might have been looking for the max, and they weren't willing to pay him the max. And honestly, I probably wouldn't have paid him the max either. I like John Collins, but honestly, I don't think I would have paid him the max either. I think that was relatively a good idea for them not to give him the max. I mean, last year he did average 21. What is that, points? Yeah, he averaged 21 points last year. He did average 21 points last year. I don't know if I would have given him the keys to the kingdom last year. He averaged 21.6 points a game last year. But I don't know if I would have given him the full rookie extension max. I think he's probably going to get the full rookie extension max in the offseason, so you're going to have to pay it to him anyway. Sucks to be y'all. Onyeka Okongwu, rookie 6th pick in the draft, fresh off a 21-point game against Houston, but it's Houston, so who actually cares? And Clint Capella, 15 and 14. My God, he's a fantastic rebounder. Good shot blocker, very good defender. Although I do like the Knicks. I do like the Hawks. Trae Young, 25 points a game. Great season for the kid. Fantastic season for the kid, averaging 25, 3, and 9. Great season. But I'm gonna go with the Knicks in 7. That's kind of where I'm feeling. I'm going with the Knicks in 7, man. Although I like the Hawks, I'm gonna go with the Knicks in 7. I think it's a full 7-game series. I think this might be the only 7-game series in the first round of the playoffs. I don't know if any series are going to go 7. Next, we have the Bucks and the Heat. Like I said, I think this one's going 6 or 7. I think the Bucks are a much better team than they were last year, with the additions of Drew Holiday and George Hill. I think they're a much better team than they were last year. I think the way that they structure their offense is better than they were last year, with the addition of PJ Tucker. Almost forgot PJ. I think PJ is probably going to be guarding Jimmy all season, and you're going to have Giannis guarding Bam Adebayo. And it looks like the Heat have gotten healthy essentially at the right time. The Heat have essentially gotten healthy like right at the right time, similar to what happened to the Lakers, but we'll get to King James and the Lakers as of late. I'm gonna go with this is not gonna be a first round exit for the Bucks. I wholeheartedly believe this will not be a first round exit for the Bucks. So honestly, I'm gonna go with the Nets. I'm saying the Nets. I'm gonna go with the Bucks in 6. I'm gonna go with the Bucks. Bucks in 6. Bucks takes the series 4-2. They'll play the winner of the Nets. They'll play the winner of the Nets Wizards series, and the Nets are taking that series. That's not even a question. The question is how many games this is going to take them, and I'm going to go Nets in 5. And I don't think it'll be a sweep. I think the Nets will take it in 5. I think it'll be a hard-fought 5, but I think it's in 5. I definitely think it's in 5. And next, second round. Like I said, we're going to go through each round of these playoffs, and we're going to do that every single new round of the playoffs. We're going to go over this whole thing, but I'm writing it down as of right now so I can keep my thoughts clear, because I didn't write down my Eastern and Western Conference previews at the beginning of the season, and I do not remember them. I'd have to go back and listen to the episode, which I honestly don't know if I feel like doing right now, but it's something you got to do for the show, but we're going to do it. Sixers, Knicks, second round. I think the Sixers are a vastly superior team to the Knicks. I do think they win. I think they win probably in 5 or 6. I'm going to lean 6 because I'm getting the Knicks credits, because I think they could take a chunk out of the Sixers, which I think the Nets or the Bucks would very much go for, because I think the Sixers are the best team in the Eastern Conference without even question. And then you have the Bucks and Nets in the second round of the playoffs. I'm gonna go with the Bucks. No. Ooh, this is a tough series to maintain, to break down, because I think the Nets' inability to play great defense for an extended period of time is going to hurt them in the playoffs, and it's going to hurt them against a team, especially a team like the Washington Wizards, who are going to light it up on this team. And that's why I gave them a game against the Nets. It could be 2 games, but I'm going to give them a game because I think the Nets are just too offensively skilled. The Bucks don't have I don't know if the Bucks have the offensive firepower to match the Nets, but I do know that defensively, I think they're going to be the better team on court. And you're probably going to have Giannis guarding KD, because the front line for the Nets is irrelevant. So you're probably going to have Giannis guarding KD, Drew Holiday. I'd probably put Drew Holiday on Kyrie Irving, and then I put Chris Middleton on James Harden. That's how I would structure my defense around those 3 guys. So I think this could legitimately go 7. I think the Nets will win, but this could legitimately go 7 games, and that's why I'm picking. I'm picking the Nets in 7. Because I think Giannis is going to have a fantastic series. I think Giannis is probably going to average like 35 and 15 in this series, because there's no one on this team who can stop him whatsoever. So even though I'm picking the Nets, I got to go with the Nets on this one. Even though, they are my team. So it's very much a chalk Eastern Conference, like the Eastern Conference is always chalk. But here's where it breaks. I am a Nets fan. I was a Nets fan long before the Nets became, the true. Before, I've said this before on the show, when, Jason Kidd, Kerry Kittles, Richard Jefferson, Kenyon Martin and them boys were, making it to the NBA Finals and losing to the Lakers. And I was a fan when Vince Carter and Alonzo Mourning were on the team. I was a fan when Darren Williams and Joe Johnson got signed. I was even a fan when Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett made their way to Brooklyn. But the Nets, the 76ers have the firepower to match the Nets. And the Nets do not have the defense. Joel Embiid is going to cremate. Joel Embiid is going to cremate Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Nicholas Claxton. He's going to kill them. He's going to destroy them for an entire series. I would not be surprised you see Joel Embiid average like 35 and like 16 in this series. He's going to absolutely roast these guys. And the question is, can Harden, because you're going to have, I would put Ben Simmons on Kevin Durant. So that's going to be a tough matchup for Kevin Durant, because Ben is stronger than Kevin. He's not as tall or as long, but he's quick, he's athletic. He's going to stay in Kevin Durant's face all series long, and I do not need Ben Simmons to score 25 points. I just need Ben Simmons to defend Kevin Durant. And then you have James Harden, who's going to be guarding James Harden on this team. I mean, who won't? You got Matisse Thybulle, who's probably going to be guarding James Harden, and then it gets to a point of, you also got Dwight Howard in the lane. I mean, I think the Sixers win in 6. It could go 7, but I think the Sixers in 6. I do not think this is the year for the New Jersey Nets. I think next year will be the year, once this team fills out more and you focus and you get some like big people help, and you fill this team out with like some dudes who can defend. But I've got the Sixers in 6 to head to their first kind of NBA Finals. I've got them heading to their first NBA Finals. And as much as I love a lot of the guys on this team, I loved Blake Griffin. I think he's playing fantastic right now. DeAndre Jordan is a husk of what he former was. Jeff Green's playing really good basketball. Kyrie Irving, just joined the 50-40-90 Cub. Joe Harris lighting it up from 3 all year long. James Harden just got back from injury. Nicholas Claxton. Spencer Dinwiddie. I think Spencer Dinwiddie's still out. Spencer Dinwiddie is still out, and James Harden, serious MVP discussion before he got hurt, even though I would not have put him in the MVP discussion because I think that's ridiculous, especially for what happened in Houston, but that's, certain points of view. He's really won me over this year. He's definitely won me over this year, but he's not. Yeah, he's definitely, like I said, he won me over this year for the Nets, but Kyrie Irving is still Kyrie Irving, and I still don't like Kevin Durant. I just don't. I'm not the biggest KD fan. I've never been the biggest KD fan. I just don't like KD. I really don't like KD. I'm not the biggest. I'm a fan of their games. I'm not a fan of their personalities. Harden kind of won me over this year, but he definitely changed the way his style of play is, and I really like that. But I got the 76ers, even though it pains me to say this because the Nets are my favorite team in the NBA, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the big three in the Nets, their personality-wise, not their game. And the way this team is built, very loose on defense. So I got the 76ers in 6 to head to the NBA Finals. Now, we're going to drop off to the Western Conference, ladies and gentlemen. The West is very interesting this year because you got a lot of teams at the top of the West. You got 2 teams at the top of the Western Conference that some people believe in and some people don't believe in. But we're going to take a short break and then we're going to come back. All right, and we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are dropping in to the Western Conference of the NBA. The Western Conference standings fall as such. The Utah Jazz finished with the best record in the NBA with 52 wins, 20 losses. Phoenix Suns, second best record in the NBA with 51 wins and 21 losses, again behind the Jazz. Nuggets finished third with 47 wins, 27 losses. The Clippers finished fourth, 47 wins, 25 losses. We'll get to the Clippers momentarily when I hit the 4-5 matchup. And you can't believe what I'm about to say about the Clippers. And all you people who were chastising the Lakers for not playing the Clippers in the NBA in the playoffs last year, in the Western Conference Finals, I want you to keep that same energy after what you hear what the Clippers did. I need that same energy from y'all. I need all that same energy from you bums. The Dallas Mavericks finished 42-30. They're the 5th seed. The 6th seed, the Portland Trailblazers, 42-30. The Los Angeles Lakers finished 7th with 42-30. They're going to play the Golden State Warriors 39-33. The Memphis Grizzlies are 38-34. They're going to be playing the San Antonio Spurs, who are 33-39. Now let's get down to brass tacks. We're going to start in with the playing game. The Lakers and the Golden State Warriors are going to be playing on Wednesday night. And the Memphis Grizzlies and the San Antonio Spurs playing the game right before them at like 6:30. But the Los Angeles Lakers are going to win this game. That's how I see it. The Lakers are going to beat the Golden State Warriors. The Lakers are relatively healthy. I know LeBron tweaked his ankle in his last game against Indiana, the last game of the season, but they were playing well before then. It was just a tweak. He got off the court. He got up. He was fine. He's all right. He's all right. He said he's all right. So in LeBron we trust. LeBron's going to be fine. Lakers are going to get the 7th seed. They're going to play the Phoenix Suns in the first round. Now, although I believe the Lakers are going to win this game, there is a chance, an outside chance, to the Warriors win this game. And if they do, it doesn't hurt the Lakers. Lakers aren't losing 2 games straight. So even if the Lakers lose this game, which I don't think they will, even if the Lakers lose this game, I think if they lost this game, I think it'd be a better matchup for them to play Utah. I think it'd be a better matchup for them to play Utah anyway, because I don't trust Utah. But it doesn't really matter. I got the Lakers beating the Golden State Warriors for the 7th seed, and the 9-10 seed matchup. I haven't really been paying a lot of attention to either of these teams all year long in the Memphis Grizzlies and the San Antonio Spurs. I like both of these teams, but I gotta go with I'm gonna go with the Grizzlies because I'm not overly fond of the. I think the Grizzlies are a more talented team. Without question, they're the more talented team. I don't think that Ja Morant's gonna lose a second game. And although I like DeJounte Murray, I think he's a fantastic, point guard, especially defensive point guard. DeMar DeRozan is one of the most underrated players in the NBA. But I got the Grizzlies winning this one. And then them playing the Warriors in the 9-10 matchup. Now, this is a matchup that's going to be very, very unlike the last matchup. I'm not sure who to go with this one. I'm going to go with Steph. Because I think their offense, Steph is just too dynamic, and I don't think the Grizzlies can stop him. I think there are very few teams who can stop Steph Curry. I think the Lakers are one of those teams who could give Steph Curry a hard time. I don't think the Memphis Grizzlies are one of those teams, even though the Grizzlies have an overall better roster. They just have a better roster. The Warriors have a far better player. I like Ja Morant, but he ain't on Steph's level. So, and the way Steph has been playing this year, just completely lights out, has proven without a shadow of a doubt that he belongs in the upper echelon of the top players in the NBA. And you might be asking, well, didn't he already prove that? Issue with Steph was Steph never had the opportunity to prove that he could take a team by himself, a bad team, by himself to the NBA playoffs and drag a team to the playoffs by the sheer force of his own play and his own will. So I gotta go with Steph. Steph is my guy on this one. So Steph, I'm gonna go with Steph. Steph is gonna take his Warriors to the first round of the playoffs against the Jazz. Now, I know the Jazz have been dealing with some injuries as of late. I know they were dealing with the injuries to, Donovan Mitchell has been dealing with some nagging injuries. Mike Conley dealing with some nagging injuries. But this is their first round matchup. Yeah, ankle injury. He'll play in the playoffs, but this is going to be a tough series for the Jazz. I got the Jazz. I think the Jazz do win the series, but it's going to be a tough series for them. I got the Jazz in 6. I think the Jazz do win this series, but I think it's in 6. And they're going to move on to face the winner of the Clippers-Mavs series in the 4-5 matchup. Now let's get to the crux of this situation. The Los Angeles Clippers, these gutless cowards that everyone has been just pontificating about for the last 2 years. These bums actually, not only by losing the last 2 games of their year against the bum-ass Houston Rockets and the bum-ass Oklahoma City Thunder, dropping 2 games, 4 of their last 6, lost 2, rested Kawhi Leonard and rested Kawhi Leonard and rested Kawhi and sorry, I just can't get it. They rested Kawhi and LeBron. They rested Kawhi and Paul George. Couldn't even get it out against the trash. Against the trash Oklahoma City Thunder and the trash Oklahoma City Thunder and trash Houston Rockets. And they lost both of those games. Why? So they could avoid playing the Lakers in the first round. Not only that they could avoid playing the Lakers in the first round, but so they could also avoid playing the Lakers in the second round. Are you joking? This is your team. Seriously, this is your team? To all the Clipper fans out there, really, this is your team. Kawhi, the king of LA, ducked not only LeBron in the first round, but man, he wasn't going to play LeBron in the first round anyway, because they wouldn't have the 6th seed, because they weren't going to get the number 2 seed, but they ducked LeBron James in the second round too. They ducked the Lakers not only in the first round, in the second round. They made certain there was no chance whatsoever that they could play the Lakers in the second round, and that is about as gutless as it gets. And I can't stand this team. I can't stand these players. I hate every single one of them. I hope they crash and burn. And this is going to be, and even though it pains me to say this, I think they are going to beat the Dallas Mavericks. And and I'm pretty. Is Kristaps back? I haven't really been paying attention to the Mavs as of late. I haven't been paying attention to the Mavs as of late. But Kristaps is back. Congratulations to Kristaps. I like Kristaps Porzingis. And if they were healthy last year, I think they would have beat the Clippers in the playoffs. And the Clippers, although they are a better team this year, they're still gutless. Completely gutless. They are a terrible fourth quarter team. And Luka Doncic is a fantastic fourth quarter player. And they couldn't stop Luka last year. So the hell makes you think they're going to be able to stop Luka this year? I'm trying to separate my emotions from my knowledge. I think the Clippers win this series in 7, even though I really hope they lose. I really want to go out on a limb here and say the Mavericks win this series, but I think the Clippers will win this series, even though way off P. If Porzingis can stay healthy and the evil Morris twin doesn't out here, try and cripple Luka again. Luke Kennard has been a bust for the Clippers. He's a joke right now. He ain't done shit for this team. Serge Ibaka, once again, when healthy, plays a very good game. Way off P is going to show up in 1 or 2 games in this series. Nicholas Batum has played well. I like DeMarcus Cousins, but Boogie is nowhere near the player he once was. Those injuries have taken a serious toll on him. But I think I believe. God damn it. I know what I want to say, but I don't trust Kristaps Porzingis to stay healthy for this whole series. If Kristaps stays healthy, and you got 2 teams who don't play a lot of defense, I think a no defensive team fits both. I got the Clippers in 7. It irks me to say that, but the Clippers in 7, even though I don't think they deserve to be in this conversation. I think they're completely gutless in their response to not wanting to play the Lakers in the second round. I think they don't deserve to be in this conversation for best teams in the league, but they are technically title contenders. Ugh. It really hurts me to say that. Like, really hurts me to say that. But we have the 3-6 matchup, the Nuggets and the Trailblazers. I got the Nuggets in this one. I got the Nuggets in probably 5 or 6, because Michael Porter Jr. has been playing out of his mind as of late, and the Portland Trailblazers, Nikola Jokic is going to win an MVP this year. He's going to win his first and probably only MVP. I know they lost Jamal Murray, but Porter, I know the last 2 games he hasn't played fantastically well, but in the games before that, he had 30 points against Charlotte, 28 against Brooklyn, 31 against Utah. He's definitely upped his game without question as of late. So I've got the Nuggets winning this series, but it's not going to be, I don't know if it's going to be an easy series to win, man. I do not think it's going to be an easy series to win for either of these guys. I love Dame, I love Carmelo, I love CJ, but their lack of frontline presence is going to be a problem, because I think Dame is one of the best guards in the league, but I think they're going to get demolished by Jokic on the inside. I think he's going to pick apart this defense. I like CJ. I like this team, but they're going to lose this series probably in 6. That's my Jokic is going to win the MVP. I think he's going to pick apart this defense from the top. I think he's going to just completely crush them. I've got Nuggets in 6. I've got the Lakers. Like I said, I've got the Nuggets in 6. Definitely in 6. So next we have the Phoenix Suns and the Los Angeles Lakers in the first round. As much as I love Chris Paul, and Chris Paul has been a fantastic MVP candidate this year, and Devin Booker has been Devin Booker has definitely matured as a player offensively and defensively. Same thing with DeAndre Ayton, matured defensively. He's not averaging the same amount of points. This is a good team, a well-built team. But you kind of know where I'm going with this. You hear the words that are coming out of my mouth, and you know where I'm going with this. The Lakers are a better team. And if not for injuries to LeBron James and Anthony Davis, the Los Angeles Lakers are not in the play-in tournament. They're not at the bottom of the conference, at the bottom of the playoff bracket. They're at the top of the playoff bracket in the 1, 2, or 3 seed, probably the 2 seed, because Utah's kind of been would have been balling all year long, but actually may have been the 1 seed. But I got the Lakers in 6 in this series. I think the Lakers will be relatively healthy. LeBron James, they all looked very, very good. You know, THT, Ben McLemore, Wesley Matthews, they added a lot of shooting to this team. They weren't a great three-point shooting team last year, but they're definitely a better three-point shooting team this year. They've got the best defense in the NBA. And I think this is going to be like a battle to see LeBron James and Chris Paul go at it, you know, in the playoff series. I've kind of always wanted to see that. Anthony Davis is going to tear DeAndre Ayton a new one. I like DeAndre Ayton. I think he's a good player. I think he's a serviceable defender. I don't think he's a great defender. I think he's a good defender, but I think he's not ready for this level. I don't think Devin Booker, I don't think he's at this level yet. I think this team, the Lakers team, is a team loaded with championship experience. You got Kyle Kuzma, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Anthony Davis, Alex Caruso, Talen Horton-Tucker has a little bit of championship experience. Wesley Matthews, Mark Gasol, Montrezl Harrell, Dennis Schroeder, LeBron James, Markieff Morris. I think the Lakers win this in 6. And it sucks. And it's bad for the Suns because they had a fantastic season and kind of be stuck with the Lakers in the first round of the playoffs. Really, I don't think it's fair, especially when the Lakers are just kind of starting to get healthy. Anthony Davis has been playing well ever since he got back. Not ever since he got back. He had a couple first games, but now he's ready. He's ready to go. Davis is ready to go. The Lakers they have a really deep roster with very good shooters, very good defense. Even without LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they were still the best defense in the NBA all year long. And there's nothing more else to say. I think they're gonna give this Phoenix Suns team problems up and down the court. I think the Phoenix Suns like to play a slow style of basketball. I think the Lakers are one of the best half-court teams in the NBA. I think the Lakers can also get out and run if you want to get out and run. So I think it's gonna be a tough match. If this match can go 6 or 7, I'm erring on the side of 6 because I think as the series goes on and the Lakers get more and more comfortable, because they haven't played a lot with each other either, but you don't have a lot of. But unlike where the Nets were, where they had only played like 8 games all year together. You're not looking at like these two guys, the two best players on the team, who had only played 8 games together. LeBron James and AD know how to play with each other. They played most of last year together. AD missed a couple games here, LeBron missed a couple games there, but not like 20 or 30 games. This team, although doesn't have a lot of cohesive, it's easier to get role players to play together than to get superstars to play together. These guys know what their job is. All these guys know what their job is, and there's no debate about who the alpha dog is. There's no debate about how they're going to play. The only debate is how they're going to play is who's in the lineup. This is a fantastic defensive team coached by a fantastic defensive coach. LeBron James got the offense. I got the Lakers in 6. And that's going to be a problem because as the Lakers start getting, because I thought this was a, if I were the Clippers, I would have fought tooth and nail to get to the second seed, to get a chance to get the Lakers early, fresh off injuries, everybody coming back. Because when the Lakers start tuning up, and if the Lakers make it to the Western Conference Finals, and they tune up to the Western Conference Finals, they're going to be in peak, like mid-season form, where they're going to be peak playoff form. They're going to be just crushing everything that the NBA has to offer, and I think they're going to beat the ever-living shit out of a lot of these teams. Now, we have the Jazz and the Clippers in the second round. The real question is, who's going to win this series? Now, personally, I know who I want to win, and then there's who I actually think will win. I think we're actually going to get our all-LA Western Conference Finals this year. God damn, I hate the Clippers. I hate them so much. The problem with the Jazz is, I've said it before on this show on multiple occasions, the Jazz do not have the offensive firepower, I think, to match the Clippers in a full 7-game series. Now, way off P is, once again, he's going to show up a couple times in this series, which is why this series is probably going to go 7. Because way off P gonna show up a couple times. Now the question is are we gonna get 2019 Kawhi Leonard, or are we gonna get 2020? Are we gonna get 2019 playoff Kawhi Leonard? Or are we gonna get 2020 playoff Kawhi Leonard? Because if we get 2020 playoff Kawhi Leonard, it's gonna be a problem. If we get 2019 playoff Kawhi Leonard, I think the Clippers win this in 7. If we get 2020 playoff Kawhi Leonard, I think the Jazz could win this series. I think the Jazz could win this series in 6 or 7 games. Because Jazz have a fantastic defense, but Rudy Gobert is a defensive liability against a team that doesn't have a big man. If they were playing the Nuggets, I think you'd have a better chance, because I think actually, no, not even a better chance. I think Jokic would destroy him anyway. But I think I gotta go. I gotta go with the Clippers. Clippers in 7. God damn it! I hate rewarding listeners, but I honestly think they're probably going to be the better team here. And even though I know Kawhi Leonard I'm fairly certain Kawhi Leonard is probably going to show up, but they're a terrible fourth quarter team, which is why I've got them in 7. I think we're probably going to get Kawhi. I think we're probably going to get 2019 Kawhi. Paul George still way off. He's going to show up in 1 or 2 games. If he can keep it to 1 game, I think they can. If they can keep way off P to 1 appearance in this series, I think they win. If not, they're going to lose in 7. But I think Kawhi might be able to keep way off P at bay for just 1 game. Now the next series, Nuggets Lakers. I've got the Lakers. Obviously, like I said earlier, all Los Angeles Finals. I think the Lakers. I love Joel. I love Nikola Jokic. I love the way he plays. I love Michael Porter Jr. But this is essentially the same Nuggets team that you had last year. And I like Aaron Gordon. I like the adjustment, the introduction of Aaron Gordon. But I still got the Lakers in 5. I have the Lakers in 5. I have the Lakers in 5. This is basically the same team. This is the same team that the Lakers beat last year, and the Lakers are a better team than they were last year. They're a better defensive team. I don't think Andre Drummond is not going to do to Jokic what Dwight did to Jokic, and Kyle Kuzma or LeBron James are going to be guarding Michael Porter Jr. And if LeBron's guarding Michael Porter Jr. for this series, especially in the big moments in this series, it's going to be a rough time. And Anthony Davis was giving Jokic problems last year too. So Drummond and Jokic, Drummond's not as quick or athletic as Dwight is, but I still think the Lakers win this in 5. 5 or 6. I'm erring on 5. It's not that I don't like Jokic, but I think LeBron and AD are going to kind of be hitting their stride in this series, and I think they're just going to pile on to the Nuggets, and I think it's going to be over quick. We're finally going to get our all LA finals from last year. Now, this may be revived depending on how I see the Clippers in the first round. I think it's going to go 7 in the first round against the Dallas Mavericks. But if the Clippers can keep the appearance of way off P to 1 game per series, I think they make it to the Western Conference Final. If it goes to 2 games per series, and the Mavericks can keep Porzingis healthy, and the first time, I'm gonna need one of these dogs on the Mavericks. Hey, if your boy Marcus Morris, the evil Morris, out here trying to injure Luka Doncic again, what I'm gonna need y'all to do is I'm gonna need y'all to break your foot off in Marcus Morris' ass, and maybe crack a jaw, crack a face, do something. Let them know y'all ain't playing. But I do have an all LA Western Conference Finals. The all LA Western Conference Finals, the Los Angeles Clippers versus the Los Angeles Lakers. You know who I'm gonna pick. I got the Lakers. I want to say 5, honestly. I would love to say sweep, but I don't think they're gonna sweep the Clippers. I think they're a vastly superior team to the Clippers. And Way Off P is definitely going to show up in this series. Once again, if they can keep it to 1 game, if they can keep Way Off P to 1 game, this series goes 6. If Way Off P shows up in more than 1 game, this series goes 5. But I'm going to give the Clippers, what? Fuck the Clippers. I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt. To hell with that. Clippers going to clip. I've got the Lakers in 5. Their gutlessness shows me they don't want to smoke. Their gutlessness in losing against Houston and Oklahoma City shows me they don't want to smoke with the Lakers. So, to hell with them. They could kick rocks. The Lakers in 4, Lakers in 5. I think you're going to have Lakers and the Sixers in the NBA Finals. And I think this is going to be a fantastic finals. And fantastic finals where I think it goes 7. I think you're going to have a fantastic 7-game series with the Lakers and the 76ers. They're going to go toe-to-toe. Embiid and Davis for who's the best big man in the league. Embiid's been that guy this year. You'd have 2 of the top defenses along with 2 of the best offenses, one healthy, in the NBA. I mean, you have Joel Embiid going against Anthony Davis, probably Tobias Harris and LeBron James. I think the Lakers are a more overall. I think they might be the better team offensively, and I think the 76ers are probably the better team defensively. So I'm gonna go Lakers in 7. You had to know where that was going. Lakers 7. Second straight championship. And why do I believe in the Lakers so much? Because a relatively healthy LeBron James goes to the NBA Finals. That's how it works. And until somebody beats LeBron James, until somebody beats a healthy LeBron James in the finals, in the playoffs, before the finals, in LeBron I will trust until I see it done. That is why I have the Lakers going to the NBA Finals, and I have the Lakers winning the NBA Finals. Because I think they can beat, because a healthy Lakers team is the best team in the league. I think they could beat anybody. So to recap, I've got the Sixers coming out of the East, Lakers coming out of the West, Lakers winning a 7-game series for the championship. LeBron James, greatest Game 7 performer of all time. Greatest Game 7 performer of all time. So, Doc, I know you were looking for that new championship, but bringing the 76ers to the NBA Finals is a great source of confidence for you guys. I think, like I said, last year, LeBron James has put himself in a fantastic position to win at least 3 championships. Now that's it for the NBA playoffs. Let's talk about awards. The MVP, I've been saying it throughout the show, the MVP is going to Jokic. Most improved player is going to Randall. Rookie of the year, I would give it to Lamella. I think he's had a better season. than what's his name. I could care less about the sixth man of the year. It's not an award that I've really been paying attention to. If a guy is going to win it, I think what's his name? Is it Bogdanovich or is it what's his name? Dude out of Utah, Ingles. Ingles is probably going to win that award, even though he started quite a few games. Defensive player of the year is going to Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is going to win defensive player of the year, and that's kind of it for the MVP, for the awards. I don't know about the first team All-NBA, second team All-NBA, third team All-NBA, first team All-Defense, second team All-Defense, all that stuff. I haven't watched nearly enough basketball this year to give my accurate assessment to who the first, second, and third teamers are going to be this year. Especially, I think LeBron's probably going to end up on the second team this year. Davis is not going to make an All-NBA team. Embiid, although I thought he'd be the MVP if he was healthy, he'll probably be the center on the second team. Jokic will be the center on the first team. Rudy Gobert will be the center for the defensive team. I'd probably put... I'm trying to think of my All-NBA first team. Probably put Steph on the first team at 2. Kawhi's probably going to go on the first team. Paul George is probably going to go on either the first or second team. They both had fantastic years this year, even though they're gutless down the stretch. It's a regular season award. Giannis is going on the first team. So you'll probably have Jokic at the 5 on the first team, Giannis at the 4, Kawhi at the 3, maybe either Paul George at the... I think Paul George will probably be at the 2. If not, you could put Dame on the first team. So you might go Curry, Dame on the first team, because you got to put Butler on one of these All-NBA teams too. But that's it for today's episode. We're about an hour into the show. I only do usually 1 hour recordings. Once again, thank you so much, guys, for today. Round of applause. Yeah. I love that. Round of applause for episode, I believe it's episode 31 of the SJP Files Sports Report. I'm your host, SJP. I'm going to play me out with Alice, Clear My Mind, the official theme song for the SJP Files Sports Report.
I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only one. No one likes being lied to. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I wanna burn all the bridges between us. I can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my head. I just need to clear my head. I've been stuck on memory, but it's not like I need it. And you may have some history, but we don't have to repeat it. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I'm gonna burn all the bridges between us. I can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking
hope you guys like the song. This is Ellis, Clear My Mind. Once again, remember, like, subscribe, share. This is the SJP Files Sports Report. I'm your host, SJP. You can just call me Jay. We will be back next week with a brand new episode of the SJP Files movie, SJP Files Sports Report, not movie edition. Once again, Ellis, Clear My Mind. I fucking love this song right now. Non-copyright song, so I can play the whole thing. Hey, get it? What? Thank you very much for listening. Once again, we'll be back next week with a brand new episode of the Sports Report.